I was going to end it on that note, talking about the Fatal 4-Way Championship match, but I think that everybody in the world wants to know what your thoughts are with the Money in the Bank briefcase. Whenever somebody's running around with it, every pay-per-view, as everybody's leaving their predictions, they always, like to bring up, whether the briefcase is going to come into play. I think that, for the first few months that WWE has the Money in the Bank briefcase out there, a lot of people, run down and try to cash in as soon as they can in order to cash in on the, pristine moment. But so many times when you look over the past, I know that we've seen guys cash in after a month of having it. Alberto Del Rio, Randy Orton, they didn't really hold on to it that long. But guys Daniel Bryan doesn't even really count because he just sort of sat it. He kept that thing in his back pocket forever. He kept on telling us he was going to cash in at WrestleMania, and he never even he didn't make it that long, but he never even took took a chance at anybody during the whole time. He just he wanted a main event WrestleMania. That was his dream, and I don't know why they didn't bring that up for the WrestleMania 30 push. Maybe because it was too far in the past, 2 years behind. Who's really going to remember that? But Seth Rollins, almost immediately after winning the Money in the Bank briefcase, they tried to do a cash-in where he came running down at the end of Monday Night Raw to cash in on John Cena as he had been laid out by Kane, only to have Dean Ambrose come in and break that whole thing up. I think that honestly, with the Authority really pushing the whole Plan B factor of Seth Rollins having the Money in the Bank briefcase, it'd be all spray painted gold, and especially on Monday Night Raw, Paul Heyman saying that if you really need something, there's always Plan C. Come and talk to me. It was always Paul was trying to craft up this diabolical plan where one of his guys could step up to the plate and really cash in and also sort of help the Authority along the way. A lot of people thinking, I think it's pretty damn obvious that Plan C would be Brock Lesnar. With the videos that have been released, you have to see, how are they going to get from Plan A, which is the Fatal 4-Way with Randy and Kane going against John Cena. How are they going to get there? From there all the way to Plan C, skipping over Seth Rollins. Is Seth Rollins going to run out and try to cash in on Battleground or on Monday Night Raw, only to have his Money in the Bank briefcase wasted either by Dean Ambrose inserting himself into the match, whether if it's just Cena powers up, it hits the 5 moves of doom, gets the win, and sort of escapes, and Rollins is sort of left there as what the fuck just happened? I just blew my chance, and he sort of gets skipped over in the whole deal. I knew that when you look over everybody in the Money in the Bank briefcase match at Money in the Bank, Rollins was the one guy that really was the future star talent to really put that on, and we've seen so many guys become big stars because of cashing in, and we've seen other guys sort of get pushed to the back, and Damian Sandow, we've seen Del Rio, he cashed in and won, and he sort of still got left to the back of the pack where nobody really wants to see him anymore on TV, just sort of bored people out. But Seth Rollins is the bright spot for the future, and I know that if you do have him cash in and not win the championship, especially this early after winning it, there's going to be people just backlash on WWE just for the fact that they why even have the briefcase if you're just going to tempt us with it, that somebody's going to become a big star where they become the champion. Everybody's dying to see Cena lose those titles. They're just saying that it's so boring with him being champion, even though that he hasn't held the belt in a year, and he hasn't it hasn't really been a whole year since last December. Here we are in July, so it's 7 months since he's been champion. He's only had it for a month now, and people are already bored because of, the days in the past where Cena just held the championship for forever, or he might have passed it back and forth to Randy Orton or Edge a few times, but it just seemed like, Cena's been on top for so long. It seems like, you sort of see why people turned on Hulk Hogan at the end of his WWF career, and when he went to WCW, he couldn't really win people over there as well. But I don't see Rollins cashing in. Maybe Rollins runs down there and gets interrupted along the way to sort of give that pay-per-view that last sort of to put it over is like that was a freaking awesome finish to a pay-per-view. Maybe you have Ambrose come back from the dead, even though he didn't win the match. He's still able to stop Rollins from cashing in, so he still sort of gets the win in the end. But definitely Plan C is going to take place before Plan B, with Brock Lesnar coming into play, whether if that's on Monday or seeing how they play that in. Brock, to me, has not been able to cash in on the money that WWE has paid him to come back over from UFC. He's had good matches. I loved the Cena match when he first came in. Of course, his first match was always going to be the best. The series of matches versus Triple H didn't do it for me. I don't even remember the CM Punk match from last year's SummerSlam. I keep saying in videos that I'm going to watch it because people have told me that in my reviews and in my videos from the day in the life, I talked about how much I loved that match at the time. I just saw Instant Classic. He said he watched it and he tweeted about it saying how awesome the match was. So this is definitely one on the list that I do need to check out. But I don't see Rollins cashing in. I don't see him losing the briefcase. I think he's a bright spot for the future to use somewhere down the line. Especially keep that thing live and active through the October, November, December months when WWE sort of hits that massive roadblock. People are thinking the Battleground right now doesn't have a whole lot of buzz to it. Just wait till those pay-per-views later in the year when it really starts to drag on. I haven't been able to been into a TLC for the December push of WWE in a long time. So, save it for then so people can really have something to really hold out for, something that you make sure that you watch SmackDown for, something that you make sure you watch Raw for, because you never know when that briefcase is going to come into play. And that's why I'm making this video today, and that's why everybody's talking about when is Seth Rollins going to cash in. Peace out, everybody.